Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We're going live here today. We're so excited. We have Tabitha here with us. And for any of you who have not met her, you're going to love her. This is going to be an exciting call. And I feel like it's probably one of the most requested topics that we have, and patients are interested in, because when people undergo weight loss surgery, their main why is because they want this to be a consistent and long-term result. Right. And so Tabitha is going to be talking about regain and getting back on track. And even if you haven't regained and you just want to make sure you're on that path to making sure that things are going smooth for you, that's what we're going to be talking about. So before we get started, first of all, we want to say hi. If you're joining us, please use the chat box over here. If you're on Facebook, comment, let us know you're watching, let us know you're with us, because we all want to let you be a part of this. This is what it's all about.
And I just checked. Facebook is working, Brenda.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
So we're going to go.
So we'll kind of just start with a very brief introduction with Brittany and I, and then we'll fully introduce Tabitha. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Brittany and I have been doing these live topics. Oh my God, it has been going on way over a year now, year and a half almost.
So it'll be 2 in this coming September, I think.
Wow, yeah. We have probably 80 or 90 topics on replay on our Crowdcast channel. So if you're joining us on Facebook and you're not yet one of our wonderful Crowdcast peeps, please feel free to join us over on this platform. If you follow us, you get reminders that allow you to I was getting ready to copy and paste it, that allow you to basically be a part. It gives you a little reminder 10 minutes before an event starts so that you can stay in the loop. And these are always on replay. So today, guys, if for some reason you can't watch in lifetime, like you have to jump off, for some people this is in the middle of the day for them, for some of them it's later, just feel free to come back and watch the replay, because there might be some really good tidbits and stuff that you have. So I'm going to copy the link and I'll paste it on Facebook and on Crowdcast here in just a few short seconds. So my name is Brenda again, and I basically have been with ProCare now for some years. I started with being had a relationship with them as I worked for a bariatric surgery program as a nurse coordinator for about 8 years, and developed a relationship, and then started traveling with them to events and for a couple of years, and then I became full-time. Brittany and I kind of close to the same time frame. And it's been a journey, and so a lot of what I do is these live events and just develop relationships with patients and providers, and go to basically the retreats and all of that kind of fun stuff, just to kind of be able to network. And Brittany, I'll let you kind of do a brief introduction, and I'll copy paste these links while you're doing that.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just looking at our Facebook page to make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't see. Hi, Werna. So for those of you, like I said, that have not met me, I have not met Tabitha in person yet, actually. We were just talking. We're really excited to see each other in Florida. So,
Yes.
So for those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Brittany Patterson. I've been with ProCare Health for full-time. It'll be 2 years this coming August, I think. That sounds right, yeah. We'll go with it. And so my role has actually kind of changed for the time that I've been here. When I first started with ProCare, I actually was in the marketing department. I was kind of behind the scenes, is what I like to call it. I wasn't on the camera very much. I wasn't talking to patients. And that has changed quite a bit because, excuse me, like I said, Brenda and I have, or like Brenda said, we started these support groups and our live events, our weekly live events that we do. And just about every week I am on these calls with Brenda. And we do monthly support groups too. So, and, you know, with with the opportunity of us being able to go to conferences in person now, my role has kind of changed to be more so not so behind the scenes, and now I'm an account representative with ProCare Health too. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. That's what I'm here for, to help answer any questions too. And without further ado, I guess we'll introduce Tabitha.
Yes. So basically, I met Tabitha, and Brittany did, at a bariatric, I guess at the
I
think get locked up.
Bariatric retreat in and freeze.
I'm sorry, you were freezing.
Yeah. It's because I tried changing some of my stuff here. I'll try to not do that. Gotcha. So basically, we met. Again. Tabitha and I did at an ASMBS, which stands for American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, professional event, and kind of followed up. And we just decided to start collaborating and doing things like this. Yeah. So she decided I invited her to be a guest here so that she can talk a little bit about what she does and how she helps people. And I just kind of want you to kind of go ahead and just kind of share your story, Tabitha, and like your bariatric journey, because she is a bariatric patient, but she also has a very professional standpoint coming in. Like, she's able to help people from a very unique angle. So go right ahead.
Woo! Thank you so much for having me. So I am Tabitha Johnson, aka the BariBoss. I'm actually a licensed marriage and family therapist and licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor here in Nevada. And within the last 3 years, I've become a certified health and life coach. So I actually had my surgery January 13th, 2017. It was a Friday the 13th. I was terrified, but I got to give a shout out to Blossom Bariatrics. They have been phenomenal in so many ways. So I just have to give a quick shout out to my people at Blossom. So I am also, as Brenda stated, a bariatric patient. And so I definitely understand the regain, all of the stuff that comes along with that from a shame standpoint. So just to give you a little bit of background on why I ended up having surgery. I pretty much struggled with my weight most of my adult life. So I would gain 50 pounds, lose 60 pounds, gain 50 pounds, lose 60 pounds. Kind of did that 4 or 5 times. And then in about 2014, I was in a car accident that ended up injuring my back, the L5-S1. So I was supposed to have back surgery, and I was on opioids, all kinds of pain meds, was not able to lift my 3-year-old daughter at the time. And so every time I would try to work out or exercise, I would re-injure the back. And it just became this crazy pain cycle. And I remember depression was a big deal at that time. I saw the back surgeon, and he's like, you're too young, and it's not a guarantee that this is going to fix the problem. So a friend of mine had actually just had surgery at Blossom. So she's like, why don't you just get a consultation and see if you qualify? Mm-hmm. So I did. And ended up getting the sleeve gastrectomy. And it's been 5 years. I've been able to keep off 100 pounds, completely off the opioid medication. I can move and lift and get on the floor with my kids, which was really important to me at that time because I was not in a good place as a mom before surgery. So I really am so grateful to have my life back. And now I get to share that with other people. So,
well, and I think it's even more amazing because she was sharing with us something before the call, which is like goes up and beyond just being able to do normal physical or daily activities.
Yeah,
tell us about that.
All right. So, some of you may have heard of the summer shredding competition, and at our last bariatric retreat, I had the opportunity to hear Des Mize speak about her experience in dealing with summer shred and competing. And as she was on stage, I was just like, that seems like something I'd want to try. Like totally outside of my comfort zone. I've not been on a stage like that in years. I used to dance as a young person, but it's been forever. So I actually reached out to Stephanie with Devotion, who also works for Team Loud, and she's a post-bariatric patient herself. She is my coach, and so I will be on stage June 24th in heels, doing a little 20-second routine and showing the progress that I've been putting in the time in the gym the last 3 months or so. So it's been a little crazy.
It takes dedication though, and I just want to say
Yeah.
that's really awesome. We're proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's this journey, it never gets old, and what I love is getting to meet people like you guys that like we can all share just our experience and grow friendships out of this. So that's a big piece for me, is just the support that I've found in these last 5 years in our community has been huge.
Yeah.
So
Lots of love.
yes,
Yes.
lots and lots of love. So I know I get to see you guys in person next week at the retreat in Florida.
I can't believe it's next week already. Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm still trying to pick out a dress and all of that. So
so for those who aren't aware of what retreat we're talking about, because some people may not be, associated with some of the same channels that we are, but there is a bariatric retreat in Orlando, Florida, that's hosted by the Bariatric Society and Advent Health, and actually they just filled up, so registration unfortunately is closed, but it is a place. If there's anybody on our live today or on our replay, let us know if that's something that you plan to go to, because we would love to be able to say hi in person to you. Tabitha's going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking on she's on a panel.
Yes.
Tell us about your panel that you're going to be on.
I'm actually moderating the mental health panel. So it's going to be Stephanie, Danielle, and Nolani basically talking about their mental health and how that changed between pre and post-op. And so I'll be there to kind of give some guidance around diagnoses, how and when to seek support of a licensed professional. And we're just going to kind of bring home some of these topics that many of us deal with, that maybe we're not super comfortable talking about, on Facebook or on Instagram, but in a safe environment, it's okay to really share. Sometimes we struggle. So I'm really excited to be a part of that panel.
That is awesome. It's amazing. Yes. There's a couple of people saying hi too, by the way. Annette says hi, and Janine says hi, and Enid, she's on almost all of our calls. We love her too. We have lots of people saying hi. For my part that I'm going to be talking on, relationships, pre and post-op surgery, and that's going to be a panel with 4 people, and then strategies for eating out after weight loss surgery. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to benefit from that too, for sure. That's something that honestly everyone struggles with. I myself have not even had weight loss surgery, but even when I'm trying to make healthier choices, it still is hard for me to determine what is a good choice and what's not.
True.
Right?
It's so true. Yes.
So how about we get started with your topic, regain, and getting back on
track. So obviously, being 5 years out, I kind of went through periods of gains and losses. So I kind of had an interesting story post-op. I was actually underweight. So for whatever reason, I was down to like 119 pounds, which for me at 5'5" I looked a little bit sick. So my doctor was like, hey, you could probably increase your calorie intake. And so I've been able to kind of maintain at a happy and healthy weight of about 129. Mm-hmm. So that's been, for the most part, where it's been. However, obviously during the pandemic, many of us experienced some stress, right? And so at that time, right around the pandemic starting, I was actually working as a clinical director in an inpatient drug and alcohol rehab facility. It was a 148-bed facility, and I oversaw about 20 therapists. Probably one of the most stressful jobs I've ever had in my life, and just the timing of everything. So I started to notice some regain. And what was awesome about our job is we actually got free food because we worked in an inpatient setting. So, there were times where I might be overindulging and things like that. So if I wasn't consistent with my foundation or my routine, I would definitely start to see some regain. So I just kind of want to talk about just some of the things that are helpful to keep in mind if you start to notice regain. These are not all encompassing. You don't need to have all of these, but definitely some things that I've found useful. So first off, tracking. I have to confess to the crowd, I was not a consistent tracker for probably the last 3 years. But now that I have a coach,
speaking to the choir on that one too.
I'm just saying. So yes, Tabitha Johnson, did not track for almost 3 years. And when I hired Stephanie as my coach this past January, so I send her every week my food logs. So I just log everything in MyFitnessPal, and she gets a copy of that. And I do have to say that now that I know that somebody else is going to view that information, I'm a whole lot more aware of what I'm putting into my mouth. So I just kind of want to give a shout out to tracking. I know tracking stinks and it's kind of frustrating, but it really does give us some boundaries to live in. And I know for many of us, boundaries, especially with food, is something that many of us struggled with. So for me, it's almost like guardrails, like it keeps me going. And so Stephanie had actually taught me, like, even if you could pre-track your day, it's kind of helpful to know. So like I saw, for instance, that the retreat, we kind of have an idea of the food that's already being served. So I'm already looking at, which is fantastic, because I'm already like, oh my gosh, like I'm on this plan right now. How am I going to do this? So for me, just being prepared is super key. So tracking. The other thing I want to talk about is, what did your surgery center give you as far as your plan post-op? So for us, it's the Blossom Binder. They pretty much just give us, all of the different stages post-op all the way through maintenance. And it's really helpful to use as a guide for me to go back and just see, okay, where am I falling short here? Am I doing way too many carbs? Like, what's happening? Yeah. So I would probably recommend, if your surgery center gave you something like that, great. If not, I would highly recommend either scheduling with a nutritionist or a dietitian to kind of just see, where do you need to be? Maybe you're 2 years post-op and you're just not quite sure of how much protein, how many carbs, like where do you want to fall? So I know for me, it's just been helpful having a plan with my coach. I got to give a shout out to vitamins. Obviously, ProCare sells vitamins and protein. So where are you at with your bariatric vitamins? Again, for a good 2 years, I was not that consistent with vitamins. And I think because I'd sort of gotten my golden seal of approval from the surgeon, I was like, woohoo, I'm good. And no, we got to be consistent with our vitamins. So just making sure you get back on track. And some of the stuff is easier than done. So it's setting up your daily routine of what time of day do you take your vitamins, like keeping it consistent as much as you can.
And we like to say that there's a lifetime commitment when you decide to get the surgery. There is a lifetime commitment for taking supplements and vitamins in order to have a healthy life. Absolutely.
So, and then I guess I will back up a little bit. So just to kind of give, because I did mention that I'm a health and life coach. So currently I do work with pre and post bariatric patients. And what's awesome about what I get to do is, as I'm teaching them, they're reminding me of what I need to do to be consistent. So it kind of brings up my point of accountability. So who do you have in your life that helps keep you accountable? It does not have to be a paid person. It can literally be another bariatric buddy. So you could totally have peer support in that. But who keeps you on track? So for me, I'm the type of person, if I say I'm going to do something, I have to tell someone, because I'm more likely to keep to that thing that I said if someone else knows. So now I've just announced to all of you guys that I'm doing Summer Shred, so I cannot chicken out. June 24th, I will be on stage because, all kinds of strangers that don't know me know I'm about to do that.
Where's this at? Where's this? Because I've not even heard of it.
Yeah, it's in Houston, Texas. So
awesome.
Several of the speakers, I believe, for the retreat next week are also competing. So I'm excited to kind of talk to them and just
That's awesome,
sort of get, some support in that. But who is speaking into your life? So, back before surgery, I was a binge eater. And for me, everything was very much in secret. So I like to kind of share a little bit about sort of where I was before I became this person now. So I was doing in-home therapy at the time, just a few months before I had surgery. So I was driving all over Las Vegas, and I would pretty much hit up fast food restaurants 2 to 3 times a day. And nobody knew about it because I would keep all my stash hidden, essentially. But there was definitely a ritual to what I believe was a food addiction that I was dealing with. So I kind of knew, okay, I'm going to go to this house today. I knew which fast food restaurants I could get to quickly to get my fix, if you will. To fast forward now, I'm not prone to going to fast food, and I don't even really crave it. What's crazy is I now crave the gym. So Stephanie has me doing 6 days a week of cardio right now. Mm-hmm. And some days on my off days, I'm like, I should just go to the gym, because I've programmed myself now to work out, which prior to surgery, that was not me at all. Like, if you told me to go to the gym, I'd be like, yeah, I'll meet you in the parking lot. I'm probably going to hang outside because I don't feel comfortable being in there. So, like, it's really been an amazing shift for me, because all of these things that I'm talking about, I've had to implement myself. So I'm not telling you anything that I won't do myself. So for me, having support and accountability, I created a structure around my lifestyle. So there's no excuses. Like, even the first month that I hired my coach, our whole household ended up with COVID, and I'm supposed to be at the gym 4 days that week. So I'm messaging Stephanie. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't go work out because of, all of this. Mm-hmm. So she sent me an at-home plan, and I was able to just keep it going, because I was like, all right, I've committed. I've signed up for Summer Shred. I've got to keep going. And I realize not everybody's going to be competing. So the point that I'm trying to make is stay as consistent as you can, even when life hits us. Yeah. And life is going to hit us. Yeah. So, like, for instance, Regain, during COVID, I worked with so many people who were working from home. And the temptation was, I got my pantry just next door. How do I keep from overeating throughout the day because I have access? And so one of the things that the dietitian at Blossom taught one of my clients was, make sure that your workspace is not your eating space. So, which is brilliant, because I think for many of us that do a lot of work from home, it can be real easy to just, I got my protein, I got all my snacks, I have everything right here. But then I'm training myself to be eating as I'm working. And we really want to keep a separation between our meal times and our work times if possible. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but even like 100%. Our bedrooms, like, people talk about trying to keep our bedroom sacred as our resting place versus working in the bedroom, because now I'm not sure, is like, this my resting place? Am I supposed to work here? Because our body and brain are just used to whatever we're doing. So just wanted to give that little tidbit. So as far as that structure and consistency, what kind of support system do you have? And that could look like a bariatric friend. That could look like attending groups like this, where you have other people who get it, because we've all been through this process. Maybe you're a part of Bari Nation. I'll just throw out that avenue. So they're another amazing place that you can get support, both pre and post-op. But where can you feel safe to ask questions and ask for help? Because just because I'm licensed and certified and all of that does not mean that I never need help, right?
That is true. So I'm glad you said that. I'm just so there is like so many different support systems out here. Ina just said my support system is right here. Love that. But it's true. Like, really and truly, some of us have family and friends. Like you said, sometimes people will have family and friends that are supportive, but not everybody has that. And the bariatric community, if you were just to look, there are so many. And Bari Nation is one of our favorites too as well. So it's just Bari Nation. I'll type it in the chat here. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, no, you're fine. And one of the things that I recognize these last couple of years is how powerful community is, especially post-op. So going to retreats like that the Bariatric Society puts on, especially this one upcoming with Advent Health, to be in a room with a bunch of people that maybe you've never met in your life, but we have the same common bond because we've all had surgery, and there's just something so powerful. And I'm probably gonna so I didn't know that was gonna come up.
Aw.
That's okay.
In August, one of my brothers passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
He was 47, and it was colon cancer. It was completely out of the blue. And just waking up in the morning and seeing the Instagram feeds of all of these people in our community going to the gym and hitting their protein goals and stuff, it was the fuel that I needed to get up.
Yeah.
And so when I got to be in person with people in November, like, it was so healing. So I apologize for the tears, but like, I didn't realize how much I had isolated myself after all of that happened, because, you know, I'm 43 years old, so I'm going through all of this, like, oh my gosh, I got to get my colon checked. Like, what's, like, am I next? You know, all these weird. And so just having this safe community has been so impactful for me, not only just as a coach, but as a post-bariatric patient. So I just cannot stress that enough. Like, find your people, because they will get you through. Like, we went to a WLSFA retreat in March, and it was funny. I got the chance to speak with the OSLP girls on stage, our Sleeve Life podcast. And
we love those girls too.
we do. And it was funny because we were just talking about how sometimes we just want to reach out to each other, right? Just to say, hey, like, you're important to me. And Mel happened to send me a text one night. I was at the gym. I didn't want to do my workout. I was exhausted. It was just a long week. And just getting that text from her was like, all right, this is the fuel that I need to keep it going, you know? And she had no idea that I was even in that space, but how we can just come alongside each other, it's phenomenal. So I just love that you guys have this platform, because the more that we can plug in and start to identify with each other, like, oh, I deal with that. I didn't know you dealt with that. You deal with that too. Like, there's just this sense of community that is so powerful. So my little soapbox on that. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, so regain. Like, first off, when we start to recognize that potentially we're regaining, ask yourself, what's happening in my life right now? Like, is there something happening in my personal life, in my relationship with my partner or spouse, or if you're single, like with my friend group, like where is there maybe some kind of a disconnect or discord? And I would probably take a look at that. Like, how do I take this particular situation, and maybe I can't change the situation, but how do I change my response?
Yeah.
And what am I doing to keep myself on track?
I love how you said that, because I think for some people it's really hard to accept that some things are just simply out of your control.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. So I years ago I had the opportunity to lead a 12-step group through Celebrate Recovery, which is just a faith-based group. It's not just for drugs and alcohol. It's also for things like codependency, anger, anxiety, depression. And we kind of talk about this sense of powerlessness, right? So if anybody understands sort of the 12-step foundation, is there's this sense of, I have to relinquish control, because sometimes there's just going to be things that I have no control over. So for instance, my brother passing away, I had no control over that. But what I can control is how I respond after the fact.
Yeah.
So for me, I ended up getting plugged into a therapist. I ended up making sure that I was not isolating. So getting plugged into the weight loss community, being around my friends, you know, hanging out with my family, just not going underground, because for me, that's usually kind of the start of the spiral. Is I know that when I shut everything out, I can go back to some kind of coping with food. It's not going to look like it did before surgery, but it definitely can still exist. So what does that look like? And maybe you've regained over the last year, and each day it's kind of like, okay, today's going to be the day. Today is it. I'm going to do it. And then something else happens and it's like, nope, never mind, tomorrow's the day. If we can just say that we're just going to start today, but maybe just pick one thing to work on, because it can be really overwhelming, right? If we get off track and we've totally thrown out our protein and our movement and our hydration, all of that out the window, to bring that back to where I need to be might be a little bit too much to do all at once. So just pick one thing. So for me, it was kind of like, I just knew I needed to be in a safe environment with people. I needed community. So I jumped back in, and that's kind of where I started. And I'm a very goal-oriented person, so that's partly why I decided to do Summer Shred. One, it was, I wanted something to look forward to. And two, I knew I needed some kind of structure to keep me from going off track, because it's really easy for me to just, like, bird, let me go over there, you know?
Tabitha, I want to say something too. What you just said, like, that really resonates, because I feel like sometimes you look at like a whole picture of 10 different things that you know that would help you be on track. But what one mindset that I've had in the past that just kind of struck me, as Brittany and I talked to some people actually from Berry Nation, I think it was Jason, we had him on here, and it's kind of the all or nothing mindset. In my mind, a lot of days I would start out, you know, doing the 10 things that I knew was going to help me keep on track. Right. Well, you go off track. You eat something that you don't think you should. And then all at once you're like, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow.
Yes.
But instead of just saying, okay, it's fine, I'm just going to start back now, like in that moment, you don't have to be perfect. You can just continue doing the other thing, one thing that you know will help you feel better. So I just wanted to add that, because I think what you're saying it's so true for probably most people in this community. How many times has anybody on this call said that? You know, like, okay, I know, like, I am a perfectionist. I don't know if anybody else is. Like, and that can be a good thing, or it can be like it could be a negative thing, because when you feel like you always have to live up to a certain standard, if you don't meet that, then it's like, okay, I'm failing. I'm just gonna give up for that. You know?
Yeah. And it's funny, because sometimes maybe we just have to break it into smaller parts. So maybe I didn't make the best choices at breakfast. Well, I always have lunch. I can try at lunch. So, like, you know, because I totally get the black and white thinking. I've definitely been there a good portion of my life. And what I've had to learn on this journey is that every day is not going to be perfect. You know, I'm also a mom, and I'm running my kids to and from activities. And if I'm not prepared with my protein and my water, the whole day is kind of shot, right? So I have to make sure I can prepare for what I can prepare for. And even if I mess up for whatever meal or snack or whatever, I can jump back on the same day. I don't have to beat myself up the rest of the day and then start the next day, because it doesn't serve anything. Like, if I'm just, oh, okay, Tab, you messed up, right? Like, and I could live there in that place in my brain. Like, that's where I spent a good portion of my adult life before surgery, is this constant shaming of myself. And so I get to teach people now, like, what is one great thing you did today for yourself, for your health? It could be for your physical health, your spiritual health, your mental health. But what is one good thing you did today? And start there. You know, so that's just kind of been the journey that I've been on. So, but I get to see so many similarities in how many of us operate. Like, we all came to this surgery situation with different backgrounds, different, you know, hang-ups or whatever, but there's a lot of similarities in some of the underlying thinking that many of us just get it. And there's something so therapeutic about knowing that I'm not the only one that struggles. I'm not the only one that gets stuck, right? So I wanted to kind of share a little story that started happening to me early on post-op. And part of the reason why I became a coach is I was struggling with just my emotions. And I'm a therapist. I know all the tools. I know the breathing, writing journals. Like, I can do all of that, right? Like, I prescribe that daily. But for myself, I couldn't get there. Like, I was navigating this new world post-op, and I just felt like so frustrated because I didn't have language around what I was feeling. And my normal go-to was food. So I remember thinking to myself, okay, if I'm struggling, how is the rest of the world doing this? If they don't have, the training and the background that I have, what are we doing? Like, what does that look like? So within that first year, I started noticing that I was buying a lot of pajamas. Like, I would go to Target and I would just buy like pajamas. Like, I would look for the softest pair, $20, nothing big, right? And then next week I would buy another pair. And pretty soon, like, my husband's like, what's with the pajamas, And one of my friends was like, you're looking for comfort. And I was like, I didn't realize, because I wasn't able to seek out the foods that I was so used to using to feel good or to numb myself. So I just wanted the softest, most comfy pajamas. And that's when it kind of hit me like, okay, I got work to do up here. So I started really unpacking just my own inner thoughts and feelings around food, around weight, and just around my own shame. And then I became certified as a coach, and I was like, I want to be able to help other people get out of this funk, because we don't have to live there. It's okay to like see it for a moment, but we got to get out of it, So an acronym I want to teach you guys, it's well known in the recovery community. It's called HALT. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Ask yourself those questions before you decide to eat. Because for me, I was obviously like, I was just used to this mindless eating. So let me just I'm not even hungry. I'm just eating. So am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired? I threw an S on the end, stressed. So it could be halts, because obviously many of us have been dealing with a lot of stress the last couple of years. And just a quick check-in. And if you start to notice, I'm always eating when I'm lonely, how can I fix or tend to this lonely part of myself? Do I need to join a support group? Do I need to go to the gym and join a class? Like, do something with other people so that I don't feel lonely. So those are kind of some of the things that I've found helpful. And as far as like regain, for us to keep perspective, that for many of us, if we would gain, it might have been 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds. Most of us, when we're regaining, it's not as much weight. Now it could be, right? But for me, I noticed when I was regaining, it was 10 pounds, 12 pounds, still not excited about it, but it was definitely more doable to come back from than before surgery. So to give yourself some grace that we can get back on track and just find out, what do I need in my life to keep me on track?
I think being aware of why you're eating, I think that's what you're saying, is being aware of why you're eating will help you to understand like what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yes. So the one piece that I have to say, and not everybody likes me when I say this, but get rid of your scale for a little bit. Just put it away somewhere, because I know for many of us, we can become hyper focused on what does that number say? And that number dictates if I'm a good bariatric patient or I'm a bad bariatric patient, or just a good human in general, right? Even if you haven't had surgery, just put the scale away for a little bit. Measure your success by other things, like some non-scale victories that you might have hit that week. Like maybe you were able to finish a workout on your Peloton for the first time without stopping. Maybe you were able to take your kids to the park. Maybe you went to Disney and did 25,000 steps and you just blew yourself away, right? What else can we measure our success by without using the scale? Because I do think sometimes we become reliant upon the number. So, start to find, where do I need to add support? Do I need a therapist? Am I going through a job change, a relationship change, struggling as a parent? Like, maybe I need to seek licensed help in that arena. There's absolutely no shame in that. Maybe I have just fallen off track. I'm doing all the right things, but I just need a little push. Then maybe hiring a coach. Maybe none of my friends really understand the post-op life. So maybe I just need a couple bariatric buddies that I can talk to about some of this daily stuff that other people don't get. Like, where can I add in some support? So those are kind of my points.
I think everything you said is right on point. You know, it's just remembering that you can get help and that it is available.
Yes.
Right. Whether it be professional help or just a friend or family, and knowing. Sometimes I think one of the things that you said earlier was that, you know, whenever you're going through a hard time, just having a community, like getting online and like looking at posts of people who are posting about drinking their water or maybe doing some kind of exercise. For me, I will say the same thing, Tabitha. And then Brittany, I don't know if you're like this, but like for me in the mornings, if I wake up and I'm having a bad morning, maybe I did get on the scale and I gained a few pounds and I'm letting the scale dictate of how I feel. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, if I can find a way to like change immediately that negative tone in my mind and just kind of get it back, like flip it, you know, like make it a little bit more positive, it kind of changes the momentum of your whole day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And so there was a post I did on Instagram a couple months ago, and I talked about the scale gives us information, but not affirmation. It's
I like that.
It's just a number, right?
I absolutely love that. And you know, I have your picture. I'm going to try to share it here because I hope my screen doesn't freeze. If it does, Brittany, tell me. I'm going to kind of pull up my other screen so that I can see if I'm freezing. But I'm going to try to share and let everybody see your before and after pictures. I have a folder here open. Awesome. And it disappeared. I guess I thought.
Brenda, if you can hear me, you're starting to freeze again. Yeah, it's freezing, Brenda.
Gotcha.
I went to her. Am I coming back yet?
Yeah, now you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about I let you share, Brittany, her Instagram page and her website, her Instagram and her website, and because I think we were right at about 45, and that way I'm sure your before and after pictures are on your Instagram page, right?
Yep.
Okay.
They're all over my Instagram.
Okay, so that's a great place to start. I apologize. I don't know why my computer does that. Sometimes it just freezes, and then fortunately enough, I have my beautiful Vanna White over here, assistant. Yes.
All right, let's look at her Instagram first. Make sure that you guys can see that, though. Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
The real BariBoss.
Here we go. Okay, so the real BariBoss is her Instagram handle, in case you guys are wondering. And you can see all of the lovely before and after pictures. Is this one of them you were trying to share, Brenda?
Yep.
Yes, actually it was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the picture on the left was taken at Blossom Bariatrics before surgery.
Yeah.
And it's crazy every time I see that picture. I'm just like, wow, it blows me away. So, and then the picture on the right was taken in March at the WLSFA conference.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I wish that I would have taken a lot more pictures before surgery, but obviously I avoided the camera pretty much, and now I'm kind of a freak with my camera. My kids make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, another selfie, Mom." So
you're like, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just saw on one of those, I saw your coach. I saw Stephanie.
Yes. Yeah, she's amazing. And Stephanie's been having me do a lot of glute work, so I'm starting to get like a little bit of a booty, which for me is very exciting. So
Yay!
my kids think it's funny. They're like, "Mom, you're always looking at your butt." And I'm like, "Because I want to see what's happening." Okay.
There's Stephanie.
Yes, this is Stephanie. She is amazing. I think her handle is at Shrinking Steph. And that is actually Dee. She is my posing coach. So she's teaching me my little routine. She's here in Las Vegas. She's got 40 years in the bodybuilding industry. She's phenomenal. And that was us just a couple weeks ago practicing my routine. So
nice.
Yeah.
I love your little outfit there. That's super cute.
Those shoes are
it's
fabulous.
Just my practice outfit. We're getting a whole costume made right now. So
well, you'll have to, are you going to share your experience on Instagram with us?
Yeah, I probably will. I've just been putting snippets here and there, but I probably will. So
I just followed you on my personal page.
Perfect. Yes. So yeah, it has been a phenomenal journey, and again, I'm 5 years out, so regain is just a part of this situation, right? Like we just have to kind of accept it's going to happen, but just get back on the horse, right? And just keep doing the next right step.
Yeah.
So
let's go ahead and share info on your website too.
Perfect.
And you have a special promotion for those people on the call.
So my website is BariBoss.com, and actually right as the pandemic was starting, I created an online academy called the BariBoss Academy, and basically it's 37 modules that we filmed that it's kind of an abridged version of my 12-week coaching program. So for ProCare listeners, we are offering 25% off the BariBoss Academy with using the code ProCare25 at checkout. Again, you can get to the BariBoss Academy from my website. There's a link at the top. So that will be available to you guys. And just as a thank you for having me on here.
Thank you so much. That's a huge discount. Yes, Brittany.
Yes, that is.
Brittany sent me a message here too about the background noise. My son is not mowing, but someone is. I can hear it. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
I was like, that sounds familiar back when I grew up with actual grass. Now I live in the desert, but yes. So, go ahead.
In order for them to get in touch with you, is the best way to fill out the contact form on your website?
That's perfect.
Or?
Either contact on the website, DM me on Instagram. Either way, I will respond. So
perfect.
Awesome. And if you're going to be at retreat next week, come and find me. I will be wandering around talking to everybody. So I'm a hugger, so feel free to hug and get to know me. So yes.
Oh, I love that. Well, we just really thank you. And that is a very gracious gift, a 25% off coupon. That is amazing.
Sweet.
Thank you guys so much for this community.
Yes. Yeah.
It looks like there's a couple comments too. I just want to say on Facebook. It looks like Janine says positive self-talk is so important.
Yes, absolutely.
We agree, Janine. Thank you. And then Myrna says, I'm almost 10 years out and gained everything but 10 pounds back. Well, I feel like there was a lot of great content here that Tabitha shared. Mm-hmm. What I'd say, if you're able to come back and listen to the replay and let some of that sink in, that's helpful. If you feel like you're resonating with and I apologize if I can't mute myself here, guys.
That's okay.
It freezes my screen. I need to go out and tell them I'm on a live call. Dang it! Myra says so. I said replying back to what she's saying is see if there's something that resonates what Tabitha has been talking about, and if her work looks like something that may benefit you, reach out to her. She can give you price points and things like that. I don't know if you have one package or more than one. Do you work? Is it self is it something they do on their own or something
Good
you
question.
help them with?
So the Academy is self-paced. It's online. It's kind of an on-demand format. And then I offer a 12-week coaching package. And then I also offer what we call a Berry Boost call. It's kind of a discovery call where essentially I'll give a person recommendations on what they're struggling with. I'll say, hey, even if you don't work with me, this is kind of what I would recommend. And then I have some individual coaching prices as well for just, one session here or there.
So it's kind of both. They could do just a self-monitored one. I'm like looking out here and see if I can give them a look. Whoever's out there.
Yes.
So it can be on their own, or it can be with you helping them. And then Kathy says 16 years out and regain of 50 pounds. And really and truly, for some people, 50 pounds may not be a whole lot. It seems like a lot when you look at the first picture, but it's very doable to get back to where you want to be. It's I think part of it is just believing we can do that, because sometimes that's a big belief to get over.
For sure. And I'll even, talk about, as far as the positive self-talk, even putting affirmations or pictures of yourself that you like, putting that up on your mirror and really speaking that out loud can be helpful.
That's
my husband thinks
suggestion.
I'm crazy, but I write myself sticky notes and stick them everywhere.
Awesome.
Brittany, you should stick him a couple too, but make them positive affirmations, not put the toilet down or anything like that. Just
yes,
I don't do that.
Oh,
I don't do that.
That's awesome.
You could.
I could.
So wonderful. And also, so before we end the call to Brittany, here is going to share. So we've started doing these new little tidbits to kind of share a little bit about our sponsor, ProCare. So I don't know if you have the problem. Last week, the same thing happened to me, Brittany. So basically, we have a problem and a solution statement, because what happens is sometimes, like with your health, you have questions. So we've started developing problem and I think we're still in the solution. We don't have a problem. None of us have a problem.
I'm trying.
We just
to
have
get
solutions.
Here it is. I got it. Okay. This is a new thing. Can you tell?
Yes.
There we go.
So the problem is you need higher levels of vitamins due to deficiencies, or having had the duodenal switch or SADI surgery. And so SADI stands for single anastomosis duodenal switch, basic or duodenal surgery. It's a procedure that causes that and the duodenal switch have less absorption of the vitamins and nutrients. So what is the solution? Brittany, can you help us with the solution?
Yes, I
We
can.
all know because we saw it
Brenna.
just a few minutes ago.
Brenna, I'm so happy you asked. Yes, I can. I can help you. Your solution today.
Oh Lord, I have to laugh about that. So guys, this actually has more iron. Instead of having 45 milligrams of iron, it has 60. Mm-hmm. It also has more of your fat soluble vitamins. Okay, so A, D, E, and K, because people who've had duodenal surgery actually have an increased risk for not being able to absorb fat soluble vitamins. And then I am actually going to go to I'm afraid to switch screens on this one, so I'm going to go to my other screen here.
It's okay.
And there are other vitamin changes that are kind of more consistent.
It has a higher thiamine level than other competitors, and this just helps aid in any deficiencies as well. As Brenda said, there's fat soluble vitamins that are in water miscible form for better absorption as well. Nice. We've included a slightly higher amount of vitamin B6 to aid with absorption in the jejunum. And we've also included higher levels of both zinc and copper, just to further prevent any deficiencies, basically. So I think that was most of the changes that's different in the formula. But what's great about this solution is that it's actually the same price as our original, I call it our OG, once daily.
Nice.
So our original capsule form is still $11.99 as well. And the chewable is too. So we, for anybody who's new, ProCare is known for being a very affordable option for patients. We are now officially a one-stop shop because we do have protein. We do have our very own protein. That was kind of a new release. Actually, Tabitha just tried it. Tell us what you think about the chocolate, because that's what you're trying, right?
Yep. So it is wonderful. I have to say it's not too sweet. The flavor was really good. It went down easy. I'm not a huge fan of protein shakes, but you guys have some good protein. So,
and Tabitha actually, she kind of sat in when we did at WLSFA.
Yes.
I did a little protein demo on making protein balls, and we made them with chocolate, and then we made them with vanilla, and it was actually both were pretty good. Yeah.
And Angela did just comment. I want to make sure that I read this comment just for clarification. She said the dark chocolate calcium is amazing. Unfortunately, it's a seasonal product. Yes, so it is not available for purchase. So if anyone is thinking, oh, how do I get my hands on it? We will be restocking for fall when it cools back down, and we can ship that safely to people. It doesn't break down the actual calcium itself. It just, the chocolate melts, and, we just want the presentation and quality to be the best. So the best possible. I'm going to go ahead and share ProCare's website real quick, since they are the sponsor of today's live event. In case anybody wants to try some free samples. Who doesn't like free samples, right?
And on the free sample thing, there's a little message box, which Brittany will show you. We don't typically include the Sadie vitamin in those samples, but you could put that in the message box that she'll be showing you. I also want to just say hi to Lovey, because Lovey's just joining us. Hello. She jumped on a little bit later. And I'm looking here. I'll look here on our Facebook page. It looks like Kathy also says, I've never returned to 357 at least. So I'm not sure if that's what her... Yeah, she's saying that she's not back at her highest weight, is what I'm thinking she's saying. So, sometimes you just got to give yourself a pat on the back. Like, I'm okay where I am. I'm okay where I am. It's okay.
Yes.
And there is something that's called a happy weight, too. We kind of talked about that with Maddie Spar.
That's
in the
right.
past.
Love Maddie.
Yes, we love Maddie, too.
She's amazing.
Okay, so I did post the link for free samples, but for anyone who's curious about some of our products that we have, as I was talking about, we do now have, we've always had protein options, but now ProCare has their very own protein.
Nice.
And this one it's a little different because we have an exclusive immunity blend, so there's extra minerals and vitamins in there to help support your immune system. We've added electrolytes to help fight dehydration, especially for those who... this would be probably a perfect protein powder for you, Tabitha, actually, with all of your work you're doing in the gym. Those added electrolytes are really going to help you a lot. And then also we added digestive enzymes as well to just to help further break down that protein, because 26 grams of protein in one serving.
Pretty good.
That's a healthy amount.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So we want to make sure you guys are breaking down as much of that and absorbing as much of that as possible. So we did add in the digestive enzyme blend. And I do want to say that for a limited time, you guys, this is on sale. We are having what's called an introductory price, and it is just for a limited time. So make sure that you jump on that if you're interested.
Nice.
And one last thing I want to share with everybody is if you are new to our Crowdcast channel, I'm going to post the link to that now. As Brenda said, we have a bunch of events that are available for replay on there. Awesome. And if for if you are watching a replay, and let's say that we're referring to a handout or something that has more information, a PDF of that sort, you can find that by clicking on this About Us arrow, this drop down, very first one, support group handouts. Look, there's us.
Love it.
My hair's more blonde there. A little blonder.
The killer bees.
We are.
Yes. That's awesome.
And here's actually those protein ball recipe if you guys were interested in looking at that. This is what Brenda was talking about, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
So good.
So yeah, I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Anything else? Because we are right at an hour, ladies.
Yes.
I just thank you guys for having me.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to see you in person next week.
I know,
I
me too.
know.
Just hope we get pretty weather and it doesn't rain a bunch. Because Florida, you never know.
Yeah, that is true. Wow. Awesome. Well, hopefully
Well,
this is
so
helpful.
excited.
Thank you, everybody. And Tabitha, I'll send you an email after this
Perfect.
to chat a little bit. And
Sounds
for everybody else on the call, have a wonderful day. I want to say you can see us live again this week. We're going to be joined this week. We're having, we had a reschedule. Her name is Ruby Gary. She's going to be talking about Your Most Wonderful Life Now. She is a lady who is, she's, I want to say she's in her 60s. Is that right, Brittany? Anyway, she's later in life, but she went back to school, got her bachelor's degree. She's a nurse, and she had bariatric surgery later in life too. And she's talking about it's never too late. And she talks about all of her life struggles and how she got through that and what she's doing now. So that'll be actually
really excited.
tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you look on our Crowdcast channel, you can register for that as well.
We hope to see you guys there.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Lovey.
Bye.